Hey, happy Friday. Friday's fraud law review. This one is interesting, I think, in numerous ways. Some of it can be a little concerning, and I think it will be helpful for um, Social Security disability beneficiaries who want to start or own a business um, while being disabled and what they have to really think about and be careful about as to whether or not, their activity would rise to the level of, um, not meeting the disability criteria. So I'll go into it. This takes place in District of New Mexico, and as you know, I get all these reports from the Office of Office of Inspector General. Why do I keep saying Attorney General? Although there's always AGs involved in these. Office of Inspector General of the SSA, um, and it's in New Mexico this time. And this just came out a couple days ago, March 1st. So I will mention the defendant's name. He's actually a convict now. His name is James Anthony Sandoval, and he was convicted and he was sentenced. He was sentenced to 15 months in prison, and he has to pay over $55,000 in restitution to the SSA. He was found guilty of 33 verdicts of theft of government property, and then one count of making false statements and false statements on a Social Security form. Looks like another one. Okay. So this gentleman is 58 years old. And according to the evidence, as per this report, and I will link the report in the comments, the evidence showed both what was at trial and other publicly available court records. Mr. Sandoval became eligible to receive SSD in 2007. And he started receiving payments, including those to his children, those auxiliary dependent benefits that we talk about, and also Medicare benefits, because as you know, after 24 months of receiving SSD benefits to the tune of 24 months worth, you are generally going to be eligible for Medicare. It's one of the greatest benefits of being found disabled by the SSA is the Medicare. Alrighty, so in 2018, the OIG, and this is the Cooperative Disability Investigations Unit you may have heard about, they began an investigation because there was an allegation. Now, I wonder if this is someone reporting him anonymously. It was an allegation that Mr. Sandoval was intentionally concealing from the Social Security Administration his ownership, earnings, and work activity at something called Traditions Past and Present, which was a apparently very successful jewelry business and had 2 locations in the Albuquerque area. So first thing I want to point out is the allegations was that he was concealing from the SSA. Excuse me. Are you all right? Black Lab scratching himself. Concealing from the SSA the ownership, earnings, and work activity. So from there, it doesn't look like ownership is per se a problem. Okay. It's this combination of 3 things in this report thus far. So let's move on. And I say this because it is true that, a lot, if I was a disabled person and I had a nest egg, I might be wanting to purchase a business and have some investment income from the business, right? Owner's equity, profit, if I'm not working it, of course. But this could make people nervous. So, but I don't think it should. You just have to always be very careful and know what you're doing and be up and up. So here we go. During the investigation, buddy, please. It turns out that this gentleman had started this company in 2009, and he himself was a designer and creator of the jewelry that was sold by the business. All right, so if he's the designer and the creator, and let's say that's happening in 2009 and after, that's an activity that's relevant and, has a market value being able to do that. And he was doing that after 2009. Now, obviously, it would depend on how much you're doing it and, what is so many little detailed factors, but that's what his role was. Excuse me, buddy, stop. He thinks it's dinner time yet, but it's not. Okay, so then in 2016, so now he's been on SSD for several years, and his business has been going on for what, 7 years? He apparently signed several SSA forms, which of course are under penalty of perjury, which stated that he had not worked since January 2007 and had not received any income since January 2007. Now, that makes me wonder if the investigation didn't start until... He's not going to stop. He's really relentless. If the investigation didn't start till 2018, and he signed these papers in 2016, that makes me wonder if he had a CDR. And they do. They ask you, have you earned any income? It could be something like that. And he lied. Never lie on your CDR. Hold on one second. I'm just going to pause this to let him out because he's going to drive me nuts. Okay, so they don't tell us whether there was a CDR. I'm just speculating there, that it could have been. That could have been where, because it looks like, why was he signing SSA forms? That's really one of the few reasons you would, when you're a beneficiary. Okay, so then in early 2019, there was an undercover agent with the SSA OIG who spoke with Mr. Sandoval at a San Antonio, Texas stock and rodeo show, where Mr. Sandoval had rented a vendor booth for his business, selling the jewelry. And the booth had a sign that said the name of the business, Traditions Past and Present Jewelry, My Heritage and Design by James Sandoval. So he's in this piece of evidence, the sign is kind of extra confirmation that he is stating to the public that he designs the jewelry, right? At My Heritage and Design by James Sandoval. Apparently, now remember, the agent was undercover. Mr. Sandoval told the agent that he sells customized jewelry from the Santa Fe area and had been selling the custom-made jewelry at this particular stock show and rodeo for a decade. He also stated that his items, oh wow, sell from $500 to $20,000 a piece, and that he does not sell to wholesalers. So he's making a dandy bundle, I guess. The next year, so now we're talking 2020, a special agent with the OIG SSA and some SSA employees met with the gentleman at the SSA office in Rio Rancho. And during that meeting, the fellow told the agents that he had not worked since 2002 or 2003. And he denied making a profit or working at the business called Traditions Past and Present, which he owns. He did admit to traveling to trade shows on behalf of the business. So it looks like he was trying to play down perhaps his role in terms of actively working the business as opposed to just owning it as an investment. And so he said he travels to trade shows. I mean, I think the purpose why he did that, maybe little dishonest, perhaps mitigation attempt, is to show that all I did was go to a trade show here and there. If you go to a trade show and spend, 5 hours just sitting there handing out business cards, the value of that work would arguably be under SGA, right? Remember, SGA in 2024 anyway is $1,550 a month. Obviously, it would have been much less in prior years. I guess there was testimony also from a former employee of his business who said that Mr. Sandoval was intentionally concealing his income from the government because he was receiving SSA disability payments. So what I'd be curious about is, what did the former employee see to know that it was intentional? Not that I doubt it, mind you. I'm just curious about what the testimony was about it. You can't just say, I think he did it on purpose. I mean, And then there was other evidence, such as reports and photographs of Mr. Sandoval working at his jewelry business, the one called Traditions, past and present, as well as working at a vendor booth for his jewelry business at the trade show. They also presented bank records of the business and Mr. Sandoval's personal bank records for a 5-year period between 2014 and 2019. And this revealed several transactions from the jewelry business to Mr. Sandoval's personal accounts, all of which were controlled by Sandoval. I'm expecting that those amounts transferred were more than SGA. Then between January of 2014 and April of 2019, so that same general 5-year period, he had received over $180,000 in Social Security benefits, and Medicare had paid out $94,000 plus for the same time period, and he would not have been eligible for the Medicare because he wasn't eligible for the SSD. Those are tied together, right? And that part was apparently from March of 15 to May of 2021. The U.S. attorney on this made a quote, and I just want to read it because it's interesting and I think worthy. Everyone deserves economic stability and dignity. Social Security funds represent our collective commitment to taking care of our neighbors who can no longer work. That's the part I want to emphasize, no longer work. Not necessarily those that can and don't want to. I added that part in. When selfish business owners draw benefits to which they are not entitled, they are stealing from every American's paycheck and from every lawful beneficiary. Okay, let's read that again. When selfish business owners draw benefits to which they're not entitled, they are stealing. So I just want to drive home, it's not the fact that he's a business owner that makes him drawing a benefit that he's not entitled to. You can be a business owner. I mean, anybody own stock in AT&T, or anyone have Amazon stock or little penny stocks? Owning a piece of a business or all of a business is not contrary to collecting the insurance benefits you worked for while you were still working. So you can own and have assets. And if they're income generating assets, that's fine. They're pointing out that if you are drawing benefits to which you are not entitled, which to me would be because you are also engaging in work activity to make income worth more than SGA. Okay, so I hate the thought of anyone reading this and saying, oh, a business owner who draws benefits and he's not poor because his business makes money, shouldn't be entitled or is selfish. That's not true. You can own a house, you can own a business, you can own 10 cars, and you can be wealthy. That doesn't mean you're not entitled to file for the benefits of insurance that you worked for and paid the premiums for. You would not file an insurance claim for Medicare or other health insurance just because you're wealthy, right? Or you're not broke. No. So I just wanted to drive that point home in case anybody was thinking it was intended in another way. He might have been able to say it a little more artfully, but I believe that is probably his intention. He's not really meaning to slam business owners who aren't working. They literally just are passive. The businesses over there run and operated by other people and managed. Okay. I think we said that he was sentenced to 15 years. After his 15 years and whatever restitution, he will be subject to 3 years of supervised release. Now, that 55,000 plus in restitution, I think is going to be pretty doable to get back because he's 58. He's going to be eligible for retirement soon. They're just going to start taking it from there if he doesn't pay it up. But it sounds like he made a lot of money. You'd think it wouldn't be a problem for him to pay it back. If he's selling items for $20,000, 3 of those and he's paid back. Anyway, what do you guys think? 15 months in prison for what he did. I don't think it's very much. I think he got off pretty light. It's my personal opinion. He did this for a long time. I mean, why not just make the money from your business and not file, cancel your SSD claim once you realize that you can earn the money that puts you outside the scope of SSD. It's like people that have a lot of money seem to get, some people lose that moral compass and they have to have more. It's like an addiction, maybe. But now, what about the fact that prisons are full and we have violent people that we're still not even putting away when they should be? Um, is that a reason why he shouldn't go to prison? Obviously, I think the violent people need to go first, for sure. Um, and that's a whole nother issue right now. But there's got to be something, because I just don't know that 15 months is sufficient. But again, like I said, you're going to take the spot of a violent criminal that needs to be locked up and off the streets. I wouldn't go that far. Anyway, if you have any thoughts, please feel free to share. I'll chat with you later and have a great weekend, guys. Bye.